Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Much love to you. Thank you all so much. Come on in. Got a few things we need to discuss. On this edition, we're going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints practicing at Tulane Stadium. The first time the Saints are practicing in New Orleans in front of a crowd to start the 2024 season. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that, some of the storylines and some of the news that's coming out of there so far. And also, we're going to be talking a little bit about something that happened on television that involved Dennis Allen and possible job security. So we're going to be talking about that also. But, of course, you know that the State of the Saints podcast is powered by BetUS. Sign up today and save up to 125% on your first 3 deposits. The description is in the down below, so just make sure that you check it out if you're into it. BetUS. So thank you to BetUS for sponsoring the State of the Saints podcast, like always. Shouts out to everybody in the chat right now. Shouts out to everybody filing in. And also thank you to everybody that came over to the NFC South Roundtable. And we do this every Tuesday night on the NFC South Roundtable. So every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, I go over and I represent for the New Orleans Saints. And honestly, we're trying to get that channel to grow, folks. So if you can, I'm just asking you for your support. I put the link inside of the comments. So if you click on that, it'll bring you right to the page. If you can just hit subscribe. We're trying to grow that page. And, you know, it's a lot of really good commentary. And I'll be looking for support from the Who Dat Nation. So I'm just asking that you subscribe to the channel. The link is in the comments as of right now. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's talk a little bit about Saints training camp continuing. This time they are back in New Orleans. A lot of Saints fans are excited, as well as the players. As a player, you're away from your family for over a month. As a fan, you want to go out here and want to see the team up close. So I'm looking at some of the videos and pictures that's coming out of Tulane Stadium right now, and fans are excited. Even the team is excited. It seems like it's one of those connections, you know, when you haven't seen somebody for a very long time and you're just happy to see them. And I like the energy like this. You know, I like the energy of the Who Dat Nation coming out supporting the team. regardless of how you may feel about the New Orleans Saints at this stage, at this point, we all kind of got our ideas about what we feel the team is going to be. But nobody wants to see this team lose, and everybody wants to see this team be successful. So if they can actually do some things to trend in the right direction, I think that's all we can ask for at this particular point. But once again, they're at Tulane Stadium, and there were some storylines. I want to make sure that I pull it up here. Shouts out to my guy Ross Jackson on the ground, keeping us privy to what the heck is going on. So attendance at Saints camp. This is according to Ross Jackson's X page. He says Rashid Shaheed was not seen, Marshawn Lattimore, Kendre Miller, Kool-Aid McKinstry, which is no surprise, Rico Payton, Ford, Rice, Nick Saldiveri, Jeff Coat, Tipton, Hoker, Rader, and Young. That's Chase Young. So those guys weren't available to practice. Not really too concerned about some of the guys on the list. I mean, we know about Kool-Aid McKinstry. We got some good news there. The fact that he dodged a bullet, he'll be ready for the start of the season more than likely. Chase Young, I'm pretty sure that was just for precaution. I mean, the way that this guy's motor been running, definitely want to make sure that you change the oil and all that kind of stuff. So I ain't got no problem with that. Marshawn Lattimore, he's pretty much been hurt since training camp. So I don't know the prognosis with that, but I think that more than likely he'll probably play week 1 anyway. And Kendre Miller hasn't been there since the first day of camp. You got a couple guys, Mason Tipton, to me, this is not good right here. This is not a good look. The fact that, you had this hamstring injury, you're still not practicing. You got off to a good start. Everybody was talking about you and you missed. And you're kind of like on the bubble when it comes to the team, even though you've been putting up some really good film. But at the end of the day, like, he has to be out there. And, you got, like I said, a couple more guys. Rico Payton, that's pretty significant based on how he's been playing. So I'm not too concerned about the list. I just think that the Saints maybe are trying to make sure that these guys can be as close as healthy as they can, holding these guys out from some practices. More than likely, they're not going to be playing in a game versus the Tennessee Titans, none of your starters. So just trying to get some reps. Also, Juwan Johnson returned back to practice off the PUP list. Everybody knew he had that injury for the start of training camp, but that's a testament to his hard work, to his dedication, the fact that he's out there. And the Saints are going to be relying on Juwan Johnson. They're going to be relying on him to play and also be that receiving tight end that they need him to be. So hopefully he can actually get up to speed and be ready by week 1. The other guys, I've seen a couple videos of Alvin Kamara, and he was also out there. I got to mention that because, he had some back stiffness, so he wasn't practicing. He didn't play in the last game. So he was out there, taking pictures with fans. And also Taysom Hill was lined up next to him, man, more in a fullback capacity right there. So Taysom Hill really embracing his fullback role. And I got to say, man, it looked like Taysom Hill, I mean, like he put on a little bit of weight and put on some more muscle, man, because I was looking at, pictures of the game and him carrying a football, man. He definitely looks like a fullback. He looks like Peyton Hill is out there, like kind of like that big, stocky fullback type guy. So it's good to see, man. I think that Taysom Hill is going to be the linchpin. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to be that guy. I think he's going to be that dude, really, real, like in the running game, because he's already pretty good at running the football. But, giving him these options with this wide zone, I think that he going to thrive. I think that what we saw in the game versus the 49ers is something that's going to come. So I think that they really have a role for Taysom Hill in his offense. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. All in all, I mean, just good to have the New Orleans Saints back at home. I had my reservations about, why they decided to go. Maybe they needed to do that. I don't know. Maybe they did just to get away from things. The morale of Who Dat Nation isn't very high. People are criticizing the team, not expecting for this team to do anything. Like, this type of stuff has to motivate you. Like, it has to motivate you. Got people saying that your coach not good enough, saying that your team not going to be good, your quarterback stink. Like, there's got to be motivation. Like, if this don't motivate you to be successful, I don't know what will. I mean, I was on the NFC South Roundtable just before I did this show, and I mean, just the fact that I was talking with like Falcon fans and Buck fans. I mean, nobody really expect for the Saints to do anything, and the Falcon fans, they just on cloud nine. Like they just feel like they already done won the division, already done won the Super Bowl. Like they playing Madden for real. But all in all, regardless, this team can make some noise. Like, will they be one of the best teams in the league? I don't think so. But you still can do some things that can actually make yourself competitive and have some fight. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, I don't, my expectations for this team and what they can do are kind of low right now because I haven't seen anything. But, so whatever they go out there and do, as long as it's trending towards the right direction, I'm okay with that. And, I'm glad that these guys are back at home to be around the fans because a lot of fans miss the New Orleans Saints, regardless of how you may feel about them. Once again, we're all Saints fans and we love this football team. We call a spade here, but at the same time, we love this football team. And in cases where we are criticizing them and thinking that things aren't going to go in the right direction, that is one of those things that we are glad to say that we're wrong about. I know I am. TJ sitting at the head of the round table. Well, look, man, I enjoy that show, man. Shouts out to them brothers. Shouts out to Clay, Bucks Nation, and Smitty over there, man. Also to my boy Berto, too. Man, we work really hard. Like, it's all friendly banter at the end of the day. We bust each other chops, but we respect each other as professionals and what we have built for our respected team brands there. So, it's a good show, man. It's, we only like 3 episodes in, but I'm just asking for everybody to help, man. We're just trying to grow that show. And I know you all love the New Orleans Saints. And y'all love, Saints fans taking shots at Bucks, Carolina, and definitely Falcon fans. But also getting news, right? Getting the news about the NFC South. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. It's good stuff right there. Says I'm over this dude. Yeah, I'm over this dude, man. The new single that we just put out here on the State of the Saints podcast. That's we got a video out right now. First off, I also want to make this disclaimer right here, right? This isn't like my personal feelings about Derek Carr. It's just from a fan that is not the biggest fan of Derek Carr, right? I had to make that be known because it's all fun and jokes, man. I ain't just out here just busting the guy's chops. And I'm just, well, I guess I am. But at the end of the day, like, it's all jokes, man. We all expect for, Derek Carr to try to do the best that he can. Hopefully it can actually revert to some wins. But at the same time, we're going to have fun here on the State of Saints podcast. We're going to make you laugh. We're going to crack jokes. We're going to try to put the best content that we can out possible. As long as everybody's having fun, that's all that matters to me. Let's see, Tim, you should make a CD, a list of your songs, and let us download them. It's already there. You go on SoundCloud and you go to State of the Saints Greatest Hits. It's on there. It's on SoundCloud. You can download it. Yeah. But yeah, man, look, I think I missed my calling as a songwriter. I think I could have been a songwriter in my past life or something. I don't know, because I ain't gonna say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out here like on some Gerald Levert, like some Luther Vandross type stuff, but I promise you, like, shoot, if those lyrics, like I stand on them lyrics though, man. I think those lyrics, the songs that I write, I think they're pretty good, man. But at the end of the day, I just want to make people laugh, have a good time. It's all fun and games, man. I don't have anything against Derek Carr. We all want him to play better, but we're gonna get these jokes in too. Let's see. Says, come on in. Same soundtrack by SOTS. Let's see. Yours truly was on the CG Rootless 49er fan channel Monday as a special guest recapping the game from Sunday night. Man, good, man. That's good, man. Shouts out to you, man, representing the Who Dat Nation over on those platforms, other team platforms. That's what it's all about, man. Like, we got to see what's going on with other teams. I know we love our team, but you want to know what's going on within your division. You want to know what's going on with the team that you actually your team is going to play. So I'm always like looking close. I'm always checking out what other teams are doing. and trying to bring it to you all. And definitely on Gumbo Pod Sports Podcast as well, which we had a new episode that we just put out. That's available right now on the Gumbo Pod Sports Podcast channel right there. Let's see. I just hope we keep Rico Payton. I think you're going to end up keeping him, man, especially, with the status of Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think they're going to carry him. Man, because I think he's one of those players, if they don't, then he probably going to end up getting snatched up the way he's played. And Colin Cowherd doesn't expect anything from the Saints. That actually leads me to my point right here, man. I seen this on X, and somebody sent it to me. I want to make sure that I give that person who sent it to me credit. Rhymes, aka Keen Value Sports. Shouts out to him. He ended up sending me this picture right here, and this is from Colin Cowherd. Basically saying Colin's 5 NFL bold predictions. You see it. I'll start from 5 for 1. Cowboys missing the playoffs. That's 5. Jordan Love wins MVP. Rams making NFC Championship. Jaden Daniels win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And at number 1, Dennis Allen, first coach fired. So Colin Cowherd doesn't really have a lot of confidence in Dennis Allen. And I can understand why. I think that people can look at this two ways, right? You can look at it like his first season, he was 7-10. And then his next season, he was 9-8. Right? That's how some people want to look at it if they're looking at it, the glass half full, right? But if you're looking at it, the glass half empty, it's like, well, you got all these guys together and you couldn't even muster up 10 wins or win a division that wasn't very good. So a lot of people are looking at it from two ways. Look, I don't know if Dennis Allen is going to get fired. I think that if he doesn't have a good season, more than likely he's going to get fired. I feel like, honestly, let's just say, for example, if the Saints win 10 games and they don't make the playoffs, I still feel like they'll probably bring this dude back. As crazy as that sounds, because they're going to look at it like, oh, especially if they like tied with somebody or something like that, and it was just like it was last year, they're going to try to justify this. But I in some cases, I understand why the Saints are doing what they're doing, because they know for a fact, and I know some people are critical of this, but they know that Dennis Allen is a defensive-minded guy, and they know that the Saints are going to have a really good defense, and they also feel like the offense is kind of making a transition. So if you can actually have a coach that at least keeps you competitive, because he has a defense or creates a defense that can actually, take up for your imperfections or make up for your imperfections, I feel like that's the reason why they want this whole Dennis Allen thing to work. Because if you don't, then you hire another coach, and are you going to be able to replicate some of the things that you've seen defensively until the offense kind of figures it out? I think they're looking at it like, at least we know Dennis Allen's defense is going to be able to basically bail us out more times than not if the offense isn't moving the football. So in that case, I can understand why they want this whole thing to work. But you got to put it together, man. Like, you got to put it together. This to me is, the final ingredient in this meal that you're trying to cook. Like the first season, okay, man, you had them layovers. Second year, you took the time to change around your defensive staff, getting your guys in here. And then the third year, you're getting your offensive staff together. So to me, I feel like everything needs to come together, or we just don't have the right guy. So I can understand why people feel like this guy is going to get fired. But, I mean, to his credit, man, he trying to give it everything that he can. I mean, if you're not good at something, you're just not good at it. But at least he's not just taking it lying down, and at least he's trying to fight for his job. Don't know if he's going to end up keeping it. Some people feel like he won't. But at least, he got the team to where he wants to be, to try to take a shot at whatever the heck they're trying to do. All I know is, to me, no playoffs should be the reason you cut ties. Like, it's rather you make the playoffs or you don't. And I ain't trying to hear nothing about no Falcons. I ain't trying to hear nothing about no Bucks. I ain't trying to hear nothing about no Panthers. Like, you got to go ahead. You got to get this thing done. You got to get it done. Point blank, period. wow, so much hate to our organization as a whole from everywhere. And it's because but it's warranted. Like that's the point. That's the part we need to understand. I get it, man. Nobody wants to hear anybody talk about their imperfections. Like it's one thing, like we know our imperfections are there. Like we know that, we have certain insecurities about certain things. And when somebody talk about them, what I'm saying, they hit a nerve. We understand that. But at the same time, like we know that this team isn't very good. We know that this team leaves a lot to be desired. And we can't just feel like, because we're talking behind the palace walls, that the walls don't have, that the walls don't have voices here. You know what I'm saying? Like, these walls can talk. So it's not like, like the way that we feel about the team, everybody else don't know about it. Everybody know that this team is one of those teams nobody is really checking for, because they have a coach that nobody believes in and a quarterback that nobody believes in. And they feel like those are the two ingredients for any successful team, coach and quarterback. So if you don't feel like you have neither, what do you think they're going to believe? So the best way that you get yourself out of this situation, I constantly said, win football games, win the games, win the games that they think that y'all going to lose, win the games that they think y'all going to win. And then, count up them wins over them losses at the end of the season. Hopefully you're in playoff contention. If you can't do that, then, hey, I agree with you, TJ. You be bringing the heat with those songs. We all need to laugh every now and again, especially how the Saints be having us feeling. Yeah, man, look, it's all fun and games. Like, I know some people just feel like I just be hating on the Saints. Like, I just be cracking jokes, man. It's all good. And I say this all the time. Man, if y'all think these songs, okay now, imagine how them songs gonna hit when they be winning. I'm gonna be making some anthems around this thing. But at the same time, it's like, what are you gonna make a song about? Like you got to give me some motivation about something. Like if but at the same time, it's all fun and games. But like I said, the songs that I'm gonna make, the songs I'm gonna make when this team get it together, I'm telling you, they're gonna be all the change. One of the rare times I agree with Colin. Yeah, that's when you hit rock bottom. That way you hit rock bottom. We start agreeing with Colin Cowherd. My goodness. If Allen gets fired, I hope they give him the option to stay as a defensive coach. Nah, no, Joe, that ain't happening. That is not happening. That is not happening. And that leads me back to the statement that I made. This is about you. At least that you're going to have a top 10 defense. At least that your defense is going to be on point. More times than not. More times so. So if your offense is struggling, like just imagine though, right? Just imagine you don't have a defense or you have like a middle of the pack, close to the bottom defensive coordinator. Can you imagine how this team would look? This team would definitely be in shambles. This team would definitely be picking in the top 5. So I understand the strategy. At least that defense going to be on point if your offense can't move the football. But, man, you got to win. Ain't nobody going to keep on hanging around because Dennis Allen is above average, close to elite, probably is elite. Depends on the defensive court. Well, based on the defensive coordinators that are in the league right now, he is elite as a defensive-minded coach. So, you can't just keep this guy around just because of that. You're not going to be checking for that. This is an offensive league. The old saying of defense when chip is done, we've got to get with the times. You got to have a offensive head coach. Not necessarily true. That's not always necessarily true. I get what you're saying. It is an offensive driven league. Yes. More teams are gravitating towards offense. Yes. But that don't mean that you can't win as a defensive-minded coach. I mean, Pete Carroll won football games. He's a defensive-minded coach. Mike Tomlin won games. He's a defensive-minded coach. Bill Belichick won championships. He's a defensive-minded coach. So it's not like, you can't win. I mean, you got to, I guess. I wouldn't throw him in there. But at the end of the day, it's like they got defensive coaches that find success. I don't think it has anything to do with it. It's mostly about having the right nucleus. Like if you're a defensive-minded coach and you need a really good offensive minded guy. I feel like that can work. Like you can make that thing work right there. But I definitely agree with you. It's an offensive driven league, and we're talking about defense win championships. That's still the case. That's still the case. Like we may not want to admit it, but the Kansas City Chiefs offense was not very good last season. You had a bunch of drops from guys like Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, and that defense stepped up. That defense got pressure. That defense was, really good in the secondary, and they were very, very good. And then you look at some of them other teams, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they won the Super Bowl. Like, man, they completely shut down Patrick Mahomes. Imagine if you didn't have that defense. You think they probably would have had a chance of winning? I don't know. So, I mean, defense, you still need defense to win championships. But I will say this, a lot of teams and a lot of fan bases notice that when you have a defensive-minded coach, your team can come off as a little bit boring because defensive coaches by nature are a little conservative. They want their defense to get a last line of defense. And, they want the offense to kind of be slow and methodical, kind of like that drive we seen from the Saints against the 49ers. So that's just the way that it goes. But I think you can win with a defensive-minded coach. It's just not exciting. You're probably not going to have that exciting offense where you're just throwing the ball all over the place, like how he was when Sean Payton was there, because Sean Payton was the offensive-minded coach. So, we've become accustomed within the Who Dat Nation for feeling like our team has to have an aerial assault, and that's just not true. Like I said, you can win with a defensive-minded coach. You just got to have the right staff and the right offensive coordinator. TJ, if these new Saints fans think this is bad, they don't know how many heart attacks we had in the 90s and the early 2000s. Yeah, man. I mean, it was bad, man. I mean, at least you feel like you have a chance to win as a modern day Saints fan. Like, we can beat them. In the 90s, nah. You knew the Saints were going to lose. You were just watching because you just was supportive of the team. You were just supportive of the team. So that's how that worked. But yeah, some of y'all, this is new. This is new charted waters, uncharted waters, I should say, to some of y'all. There it is. Uncharted waters to some of y'all. But to us, you know what I'm saying? We didn't been all in the nooks and the crannies of this swamp. Some of these OGs up in here. This is just one of these seasons we just don't feel confident about our team. And heck, maybe that's just what it is. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me just, trying to play mind games with myself, maybe gaslight myself a little bit. But maybe this is what they need. Everybody's saying that they suck. Everybody's saying that they stink. Everybody's saying they ain't going to win nothing. Picking them to be dead last in the division. Like, maybe that's what you need in order for you to be able to step up. I don't know, man. Maybe this is what you actually need in order to blow this whole thing up. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But, I mean, I'm prepared. Like, whatever. I'm prepared for the Saints to look pretty decent this season. I'm also prepared if they just stink it up. I don't feel like, people are just checking, the schedule and saying they're going to lose this, they're going to lose this, they're going to lose this. I don't believe that. I think they're going to win some games that people don't expect them to win. That wouldn't surprise me at all, but we'll see. We'll see. Tyrone, thank you very much for the $10. Says, TJ, did you see the picture I sent you? Yeah, we just finished talking about that. We just finished talking about it, Tyrone. I just pulled it up. We just finished talking about that. And I gave you a shout out in your Twitter as well. Yeah, so we already talked about it, man. I said that, I can understand why they did it. I can understand why they have him picking, they have him at number one. I understand why they have the Saints picking to have, in the top 5 when it comes to the draft. I can understand that. But look, things don't always end up being what they're supposed to be. TJ, with the songs, I dig it, brother. Sign me to the State of the Saints podcast label. Yeah, man. Look, I appreciate it. Look, if I ever have a record label, I'll make sure that I sign you, man. Like Chosen be having some really good songs. I don't know why he don't really be putting them out like that. You know, Chosen be sending me songs and stuff like that and messages like, man, I'm about to do this. Like, go ahead, put it out. You know, put it out, man. Share it. You know, sometimes, you know, it's okay. You know, it's okay, man. You always gonna have some people that gonna always have something to say, but you know, it's not designed for those individuals. You know, it's designed for the people that's gonna support you and show love to you, man. Those are the people that I do it for. You know, some people are just gonna hate on you because they see everybody else having a good time. It just comes with the territory, bro, and just let you know that you're pretty good at what you're doing. So that would be my advice to you. But Chosen does a really good job, man. And when he start putting them songs out, y'all gonna really enjoy them as well. Ro don't come in here with that foolishness. What did Ro do? What did he end up doing? I don't know. Too far back. Jermaine Jackson. Shouts out to Tito and Mike. Said this is I already read that. But anyway, shouts out to Jermaine Jackson right there. But let's get serious and move on to Joel. And he said some of y'all probably get that joke. 85 Bears had a good defense and so quarterback and a good run game. Look, I still believe if you have a good defense and a good running game, you can win in the playoffs. I still believe in that. I understand people want to throw the football all over the place, but in those tough games, when you out there in December, January in the cold, you got to go in cold elements and stuff like that and play. You need that defense and you need that running game. The running game like keeps the clock running. It muddied up the field. It's very uncomfortable for players to be slamming into guys and you know close to below zero temperatures. Like y'all know how it is, man. When you be out there in the cold, you slap your hand or clap your hands together, man. Your hands start hurting. Like you running that football, boom, boom, boom. At this guy constantly, man. As cold as it is out there, eventually you're gonna break one, or you probably have a game where you know they just basically might go for 200 because ain't nobody trying to tackle you. D'Amico Ryans is a defensive minded. That boy doing numbers in Houston, exactly because he got Bobby Slowick. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a defensive-minded coach accompanied by a really good offensive coordinator, you're going to win. Like, you're going to win some games. I mean, I know some of y'all don't want to hear this example. Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan. Like, they went to the Super Bowl together because we know they didn't win it, but that was a good combination right there. And now look at Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan still going to Super Bowls. Ain't winning them, but he's still going to them Super Bowls though. So yeah, I mean, as long as you have a good combination, you can win. When the Bucs beat the Chiefs, both starting tackles were hurt the week before, and Mahomes literally had no time. Well, look, if ifs was a fifth, we all would be drunk, right? If wishes was fishes, the world would be an ocean. They went out there with what they had and they lost. Also, don't want to make that as an excuse because Joe Burrow looked way more formidable in his Super Bowl than Patrick Mahomes did in that one. And we all know that Patrick Mahomes had no offensive line. I mean, in that game versus the Tennessee Titans in the divisional round, the dude was sacked 9 times. Like, I'm pretty sure that night that man probably had to sleep in a chair because he couldn't sleep in a bed the way that man was getting tattooed. And think about this. I know we look at it like, man, 9 sacks. You got to think about the sacks that didn't make it, like the pressures, the hurries, the quarterback hits. You got to think about that too. So if you had 9 sacks in a game, you know that guy got hit at least 20 to 25 times in that game. So, I mean, look, he ain't getting no sympathy from me. They just had a really good defensive performance, man. I give credit where credit is due. That was just a really good defensive performance. And like I said, you need a good defense in order for you to be able to, get over that hump, in the postseason. Because everybody's good. Like, you're going into the postseason, everybody is good. Like, you did enough in order for you to make the postseason, and there's no secrets. Like, those guys burn the midnight oil. Like they check every nook and cranny, all of your perfection, all your imperfections, all your perfections, and they know exactly how you're going to tackle. So you need that defense, man, and you need them to be disciplined. Amen. I have been so pissed off at the Saints. I missed work the next day. Look, Pam, don't let them make you miss your bread now. Don't let it get that. Look, I'll be so mad at the New Orleans Saints, but one thing they ain't gonna do, they ain't gonna stop me from making my bread. All right, all them dudes up there, they gonna cry, and they Versace. They gonna cry in that Gucci. You know what I'm saying? That's what they gonna do. So that they good. Like they good money. You know what I'm saying? Like they missed the playoff, they out the Turk and Caicos somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Look, like, now I gotta go to work. I ain't missing no game because no Saints. I'll be mad at work, but I'm gonna be there. Shoot, El Kabari ain't paying my mortgage. TJ, am I crazy for feeling like Aaron Brooks was smiling in our face directly when he used to throw a pick and be laughing on the sideline? Yeah, he was laughing straight to the bank with this. Ha, 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 ha. I mean, this dude's rich, man. Like, seriously. Like, I'm pretty sure they care about winning, but come on, man. Like, you're going to be all right. People like people be like criticizing these guys on X. Man, you suck. Man, you stink. Man, this man got a house with nothing but windows off in that thing. He looking off, you know what I'm saying? He can see the whole valley down in that mug. We sitting somewhere, you know what I'm saying, in a congested room. Like, they always remember that, folks. Like, after you finish being upset, I ain't saying, like, don't be upset, but just remember. Like, just remember. Like, don't ever let it get to a point where, you know, they just really get to you, man. Like don't miss that bread. That's my best advice. That's my best advice for you. Right? Don't miss that bread. Mess around with them Saints. I see Roe didn't do anything. It's just a joke between us. Oh, okay. I was like, what did Roe do? Let's see. Keenan said, TJ, we will know we got some dogs if our players take the dollar scrutiny personally and come out and make a statement in the first 5 games. Yeah. I mean, I think that they're taking it personal now. I mean, that defense looked good. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's preseason or not. Them dogs is hunting out there. Them boys hungry. And if they can play like that, they can be in every game. And if that offense can just get their act together, maybe in that running game, like this defense can carry this team. This defense can carry this team. Derek Carr and the offense just need to get their act together, man. They need to, like, figure it out. And I just hope that they got some stuff going. Like, I like what I saw. Like, I like what I saw in the second game. I think they kind of opened up the playbook a little bit. And what was the most impressive thing about it? Here's the most impressive thing. This is what I want people to understand why I was so impressed. Where did Clint Kubiak come from? He came from the 49ers, for those that don't know. If anybody knows what Clint Kubiak is about to run before they run it, who would it be? It will be the 49ers. They see this. Their defense sees this all the time in practice. I don't care if you're second team. I don't care if you're third team. They see this motion. They see all these movements and stuff like that. And the fact that the Saints found success, the fact that Jamal Williams averaged 6 yards a carry, the fact that you've seen Taysom Hill running in between the tackles, and we ain't even counting Alvin Kamara, who has yet to really be a part of this offense from, you know, our visual standpoint. Like, to me, like, that was more telling than anything else. Like, if you can run it on a team that more than likely know it's coming, and you're finding success with that, I think you're gonna be okay. That was the best. That was the biggest takeaway out of all this. The fact that you were able to find success versus a guy, to be quite honest with you, was responsible for creating it. You know, his dad and Clint's dad, you know? So there we go. We got to show more respect to DA, even if we don't want him as a head coach. People forget he saved his team back when our defense couldn't stop a high school offense. Now, that is true. That is true. And 2 things can be true here, Josh. 2 things can be true. Number one, you can have an appreciation for Dennis Allen as a defensive-minded coach, which a lot of us do. Matter of fact, I will go a little deeper. I think close to everybody does. Like you got some people out here that feel like they got some holes in a boat, so to speak, but it don't get no better than this dude. Like I'm telling y'all, man, if the last few years haven't taught us anything, it should teach us this. We should have an appreciation for people's efforts and what they bring to the table, because when we see what life is without it, it's not very good. Like we all were talking about Drew Brees' arm strength, and some people calling him noodle arm and all this other stuff. But how many of us in this chat right now, how many of us watching this at home, at work, wherever you are right now, wish you had that noodle arm quarterback, as you like to call him, as your quarterback? The guy with limited arm strength. Who wouldn't want him right now? I would take Drew Brees out in his limited arm strength at the twilight of his career over any one of these gentlemen that we have right now. I'm serious. You don't appreciate a good thing until it's gone, man. And, Sean Payton, he leaves, the offense takes huge steps back. And anybody that just feel like this defense is just going to be top notch, like, unless you about to find, like, I don't know, man, like somebody, like, it would have to be, this will make me comfortable. This will make me comfortable right here. If the New Orleans Saints, if they were to let go of Dennis Allen at the end of the season, follow me, they hire an offensive-minded coach like Bobby Slowick or Ben Johnson, and it just so happens that the Jets underachieve and Robert Saleh is still on the street. If Robert Saleh became the defensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm good. Like, it will have to be somebody like that. Like, if Robert Saleh is the defensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints, I'm good. Because I think that he is, out of all the defensive coordinators, I think he's the best. I think he's the best defensive coordinator in NFL. I know people like to talk about Spags and all that kind of stuff, but now I give Spags some credit, like he a good defensive guy. But to me, Robert Saleh is the best. And if Robert Saleh was to get let go by the Jets and he ends up finding his way to New Orleans as the defensive coordinator, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm straight on that. I'm straight if we straight if he came here. And but if this guy goes away, and I'm talking Dennis Allen, his defense goes with him, man. And that's something that we gonna have to understand. And you have to ask yourself, like, looking at this team and looking at some of the issues, like, are you comfortable with the fact of knowing or the possibility that your defense might take a step back? Your offense already then took a huge step back. Are you prepared to accept the fact that your defense might take a step back? Because I can tell you right now, like, man, you think, like, some of y'all don't know about the dark ages of Saint football. Some of y'all think y'all in it. Like, dark ages ain't 9 and 8. Dark ages 3 and 13, 2 and 14, 6 and 10. And 6 and 10, that was generous. That was generous. That was a good year. Like, seriously, man. So I'm just saying, you don't appreciate a good thing till it's gone, because it seemed like it's always a part of it. It's almost like, if your parents always take care of you, you never really had to want for anything at all. If they stop doing what they're doing, like, if they keep on doing what they're doing, you ain't gonna think about it. But if they take that away and be like, nah, you know what? I'm not paying anything else. You're on your own. You're going to start feeling it. You're going to notice the difference. So I'm not going to beat up on him too bad, because I know what he brings to the table helps this football team right now. Because offensively, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it. And you don't have the coin to do it. You don't have the coin to do it. Now, I want to say the Saints got maybe $13, $14 million in cap space right now. And I think they're trying to work themselves to the middle. I mean, I just think that they kind of fooling themselves and trying to make us feel like they trying to do everything that they can to win. That just ain't true. The Saints are being very, very cautious. and they're trying to get themselves back to the middle. And you do that kind of stuff when you feel like, I don't know if this dude is maybe the answer at coach. So in 2025, you can probably, make some tough decisions and bring somebody else in, and they got some money that they can actually work with. So wasn't planning on going Friday either. I had to talk with my dad and on Friday, and I decided not to go. Okay. I don't know. I guess that was a conversation in the chat. My bad. Let's see. AK isn't getting any attention right now, but I think the way Kubiak is using him and Taysom in the power I will be an X factor for the offense. It'll open up the play action. Yeah, I agree with that, King Arthur. And I just think that Alvin Kamara is slept on. I think that a lot of people just think that Alvin Kamara is washed. And I keep telling people it was the same thing that they thought about Christian McCaffrey until he met up with Kyle Shanahan. Now this guy's the Madden cover boy and offensive player of the year. So to me, I think that Alvin Kamara is going to, a lot of people are going to look at it as a resurrection. I just think that Alvin Kamara was a victim of bad offensive play calling. I do. I think that it was a victim of bad play calling. I think that P. Carmichael failed that man and got that man out here looking washed. Yeah. TJ, are you an ASICS man? I just switched from Nike. Man, I'm not. If a shoe is a reasonable price, I'm buying them, man. That's what I am, man. That's what I am. Look, I'm at the age right now. I just like comfort, man. All right. I'm flat-footed. I'm a diabetic. You know what I'm saying? I just got to make sure that my feet is straight. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically what I'm on right now. Back in the days when I was in college, I mean, I had every Jordan that you can think of. Like when Jordan was out, like I was in that line. But right now, man, as long as my little man shoe game looking all right, as long as my shoes are comfortable, I'm straight, man. I'm straight. But I don't mind ASIC, Nike, Reebok, Puma. Well, I'm gonna shout out Puma because they endorsed your boy last year. So shouts out to Puma. Shouts out to Puma. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't care, man. I just like comfort. Hey, TJ, I'm hearing buzz that we may attempt to trade for Ravens offensive lineman Ben Cleveland. I've been into him. Dude is really solid, but what would be the cost to get him? Well, if he can bring something to the table better than what you already got, look, give him, I say give him like maybe a 4th round pick for him or something like that. I will have to look at his stats analytically, see what he brings to the table. I'm also like really looking really close at Larry Borom. I think it's Larry Borom for the Chicago Bears. Like there was an article that came out that said that they were interested in maybe trading for him. And you keep a close eye on the Chicago Bears, man, because they got some really strong depth at the offensive line. So those offensive linemen, they ain't gonna be able to keep all of them around. So be on the lookout for that one right there. So that might be one of those situations where the Saints can actually pick somebody up and they can be really, really solid. But Borom, he's a guy that rates very, very highly as offensive line, definitely in pass protection. They say he had a 89% succession rate. You know what I'm saying? So successful rate when it comes to like his blocking. So that's pretty good right there. That's pretty good. So if you can get yourself offensive lineman, but I don't care if it's Ben Cleveland, James Cleveland, Cleveland Brown around his mug. Like if this dude can come up in here and block, I'm good with that. All right. Shoot, and if it's James Cleveland, God bless you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's even a bigger blessing. TJ, do you think it's far-fetched for Kubiak to be named the head coach if DA is fired, or will they go to Joe Woods? I think that whoever the assistant coach is right now, I think it would be James Wood. Or Joe Wood. I say James Wood. Wouldn't be James Woods because he's an actor. Joe Wood. Joe Woods probably would be, because I think he's the assistant coach. So yeah, they'll probably go with Joe. Still want to know about why we're signing or trying the FDBs and not O-line. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know if they feel comfortable or the fact that they don't want to make an extravagant expense. Like if this guy is going to be somebody that you have to sign, and I don't know, it ain't somebody that can help you down the line. Like I'm kind of for it. Like you can get somebody that maybe at the end of the road, maybe solid but not the best, and just get you, let you kind of slide through the cracks. And then in 2025, you can actually address that issue. I don't feel like this issue is going to be addressed until 2025. I really feel that way. I feel like whatever the Saints do is basically just patching the hole in the boat. So I think that they're going to address it in the draft, and that would be very, very smart for them to do it, because you have another guy that can actually come in, be on that rookie deal to go alongside Tallahassee Fuaga, the big chief, because I really feel like Tallahassee is the future of this offensive line. And, just kind of, it's good that he had a good game, and I'm glad that he got some confidence, but you can move on from Trevor Penny unless you're going to try to put him, you're going to try to give him one more shot, and that's at the guard position. Nelly says, you diss me, TJ. Why ain't you shout out the Mel Force One? Says Nelly. Thank you very much for the $2. Well, Nelly got some bigger fish to fry if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? He don't need to be worried about them white ones. He needs to be worried about them white pills, if you get what I'm saying. But anyway, that boy, for those that don't know, I'm just saying, look it up. Look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about, for those that don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Nelly. But at the end of the day, yeah. I mean, everybody used to wear G-Nikes. Air Force One, we in New Orleans, we call them G-Nikes. Not James Cleveland. Man, I don't care who it is, man. James Cleveland, Cleveland Brown, I don't care, man. I don't care who. I really don't care. As long as this guy can, as long as this guy can bring something to the table. Man, y'all act like y'all ain't listening to no Reverend James Cleveland, man. Lord help me to hold out. Come on, man. Where my Christian warriors at? Where my holy warriors at out there? Come on, man. Jay Cleveland, the good Reverend, may he rest in peace. That boy had them hits. Mary, don't you weep. Come on, man. I should wear a crown. Come on, man. Y'all know about James Cleveland. This dude Ben Cleveland, 6'6", 370, and look mean as hell. Like, have that. What's your look at it? Looking at face. looking just like itself. Let's see. I'm coming on the rough side of the mountain. I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain. Who in the hell left the gate open? DJ cutting up tonight. Hey, man, y'all know what I'm talking about. Shoot, Jane Cleveland, man. Y'all mama, grandmama listen to them gospel songs. Shoot, y'all know y'all were patting y'all feet. Yeah, shouts out to my mom up in here. Giving shouts out to people and Chemo and Pammy and so many others. Shouts out to your mom. Thank you for being here. Really do appreciate it. Shouts out to my mom, always sending motivation through. And yeah, she always sending that motivation through. She sent me something in a message yesterday, and I gotta tell you, man, like, it was right on time. I don't know what it is, like, this kind of all such. I don't know what it is about me and my mom. We just got this like connection. You know what I'm saying? No, I just feel like we just kind of, on the same wavelength, especially like when it comes to creativity. I definitely feel like my creativity came from her. Like, my mama is a book writer, a poet, cook, all that stuff, whole nine, and a hell of a mom too. The reason I feel like I'm somewhat of a great dad. So yeah, man, but that just shows you right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost 40 years old. My mom's still like up in here, like really like supporting me and Still, you know what I'm saying? Like, still look at me like I'm a little kid or something. But like I said, shouts out to my mom and all the good moms up in there, man. I know we got a lot of female listeners that support the show. So shouts out to all the moms, the grandmoms out here going hard in the paint for their kids, grandkids, etc., etc. Let's see, TJ. Outside of Juju, is there another wide receiver you'll like? Yeah, I think you got to go with Hunter Renfrow at this point. I think you got to go with Hunter Renfrow. I don't know why isn't Hunter Renfrow on somebody's team? I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand why this guy isn't on somebody's team, man. Like, this guy's the pride of Myrtle Beach, and I'm not being biased here, you know what I'm saying? Because I stay out here in Myrtle Beach, and they look at this guy like he's some type of deity or something. Like, you walk around Myrtle Beach and you see Hunter Renfrow Clemson jersey, Hunter Renfrow Raider jerseys. Like, I don't get it, man. I think that dude is like really talented. I think he can bring something to the table, especially the way this offense is structured. I don't know why your boy Derek Carr ain't staying on the line for his man. TJ, what's your thoughts on Jeff Ireland? These last few first round picks been questionable. What do I think about him? Hit and miss, hit and miss. I think that Jeff Ireland has to change the way that he thinks when it comes to scouting and evaluating talent. Not to say that he's bad, but needs you to hear me out on this. Jeff Ireland had become accustomed to Sean Payton making basically anything work that he brings in for the most part, especially on the offensive side of football. Like, Traquan Smith wasn't everything we thought he was going to be coming out of Central Florida. Guess what? We just going to make him one of the best blocking wide receivers on the team. It's stuff like that. To me, he was able to kind of like find a role for these guys. I just feel like the way that the Saints are structured now, they need somebody that's a quick read and that you can thrust into the lineup. Like, I like the fact that for the last couple of years, they drafted guys that have done something on a high level in the first round. Like, Brian Brzee came from Clemson. Clemson has been one of the best college football teams in the country over the last 5 to 10 years. We know who he was when the Saints drafted him, and he played for a school that went up against stiff competition, so he's battle tested. You look at Tallahassee Fuaga, even though Oregon State isn't a household name when it comes to the school, he was rated one of the top offensive linemen coming into this year's draft, and the Saints drafted him. So to their credit, like, they understand what they need to do now. They're not looking at projects. It was a little bit of a miss. It was a little bit of a miss with Isaiah Foskey, but I kind of understand that because he's Notre Dame's all-time leader in sacks, and he was really disruptive at a major powerhouse university. A football powerhouse, if you will. So I can understand, okay, getting Brzee, getting Foskey, getting Olave, little bit of a reach when it came to Trevor Penning, but I can tell like they felt like he would have been, if it worked out, a tone setter on the offensive line. So when it all comes down to it, they just have to change the way that they actually draft. Instead of looking at, I think we can work on this, like, have an easy read. Like, don't be looking for a guy 2 to 3 years to be what you want to be. By year 4, he's looking for a new contract. So you want to get somebody that's going to hit the ground running. Like, look at the Georgias. Look at the Alabamas, the LSU. So what? So what if they in close proximity to their family? So the freak, what? If that guy is good enough, draft him. Put him on your squad. Like, I feel like the Saints sometimes, like, they outthink themselves. Like, nobody really checking. Nobody cares what you're going to do. Oh, everybody thought I was going to get this offensive line. Watch what I do. I'm going to get a defensive line just because you say I'm going to give me an offensive line. So what? Like, so what? Like, do the right thing. Whoever the best player is at a position of need, you draft. Don't try to make Isaiah Foskey work because, like he didn't, he was good in college, but all the different tests and all of the different things that they ran him through, he didn't score well on. And you still like, okay, Isaiah Foskey, no matter what. And the craziest thing about it is, since we on Foskey, I'm gonna make this quick. I'm gonna get off him. I feel like I was really been beating up on homie for the last couple of days, but I was watching a draft shit, right? It was the day that the Saints drafted Isaiah Foskey. And they were evaluating that. They gave the grade for the Saints drafted him at that spot a D+. I just want to make that clear. And the same things that they were saying and the same stuff that we have, said that is the issue with Isaiah Foskey, those guys were saying why this man was being drafted. Oh, he thinks too much. He thinks before, he tries to be, too cute. He overthinks himself. And what did Dennis Allen say? Sometimes he just he just overthinks it. He doesn't just, react. The same stuff that they were saying about him after the Saints drafting him are the same things that he's dealing with right now. So I say that to say this. When a person shows you who they are, believe them. Sometimes. In this particular case, I'm telling you right now, one thing that is a deal breaker to me, if I am a GM, the one thing that is a deal breaker to me, ladies and gentlemen, who that nation all across the world, is when a guy has a reputation for being soft. I don't feel like it's something that it is not something that it's just gonna pop on. Like, you are who you are. Like, if a person shows me that they soft as cottonelle tissue, if they show me that they don't have, that second gear off the rip, I don't want them, because I don't think that that's something that you can actually develop. It's rather you got it or you don't, because football is already mental. Like, it's already a psychological battle that you're going with. You're going up, if you're a defensive lineman, you're going up against really strong offensive guys that can move you like you're a child. And if you walk up to that line and say, oh man, I'm going up against Trent Williams, this man about to destroy me, then you already lost, right? You're already lost to me. I need somebody that, even if they were the very last pick in the draft, or, this person didn't answer the phone, so they called me and I got the tryout. You need to be walking up in that thing like you the greatest football player that ever lived. And if you don't have that, then, man, you just ain't got it. That's a deal breaker for me. Like, I can deal with a guy that has promise, but has a lot of heart. Like, at least I know he's going to try hard. But this guy, to me, sometimes he plays like you have to ask him, bro, do you like football? Like, do you love playing football? Like, that's how, like, sometimes, like, watching this guy, it makes me feel like somebody should ask him. Toughness is not something that you can put on, take off like a shirt or a pair of pants or a jacket or glasses. It's instilled inside of you. And if you don't have that, man, you're on a professional level and they still gonna be a question in your toughness, man, I don't feel like it's something that can benefit you. Like, dude looking like a lifetime special teams player. And even with that, like, he don't even score well on special teams. So he gonna have to figure it out. Man, I don't know. And I don't know how he can do it. That's why they shouldn't have hired DA as a head coach. If he does get fired, then we lose a good defensive coordinator. If they just keep him as a defensive coordinator and hire a head coach, we wouldn't be in this situation. Yeah, I agree. But you're also going to have to look at the fact that maybe he feel like disrespected or something like that. So you probably would have still lost him anyway. So you got to look at it that way. And then who's to say that the next coach that comes in will want him as their defensive coordinator? He had a top defense, but the same thing that I felt like he fell victim to in his first season could be what the next coach felt like they can fall victim to, which is water cooler talk about if things go bad, them looking over there like, man, I don't know, man. Shoot, if that was me, if I was coaching the team, you don't want to have that, man. You rather just blow this thing up. So who's to say like they would have kept him anyway? So I understand why they did it. I mean, at the time, I wasn't even really mad at it. I'm like, okay, get this man a shot. Give him a shot. Let's see what he can do. But I don't know, man. A lot of question marks about this. A lot of the practices that are taking place are questionable, and I'm just hoping that they can actually fix that. The SWAC and the MEAC got gems. Yeah, I mean, they got some talented players in the SWAC and the MEAC. I'll agree with that. Shouts out to Mark Evans, I should say. Shouts out to him. Let's see. Hey, TJ, you're on the money. The best NCAA conference is in the Saints' backyard, and we need to come outside and play with the neighbors. Too much talent in the neighborhood. Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, I never understood why, like, Sean Payton didn't really look at LSU players like that. I mean, I know that, Sean Payton is a different type of cat. He probably think that, those guys are too close to home, a lot of vices. So maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. But, it should never have been with the reputation of, like Patrick Queen was saying, man, they don't draft LSU players. It should have never been like that. Because you look at Pete Carroll was drafted in the Pacific Northwest. He was going to the UCLAs. He was going to the Washingtons. He was going to the Oregons and drafting players and stuff like that. Zach Charbonnet, if I'm not mistaken, came from UCLA. Right? I mean, he drafts guys. I mean, Tyler Lockett came from Stanford. Out there in the Pac-10, Pac-12. Richard Sherman, Stanford. So you're drafting guys on the West Coast. You're drafting those Pac-10, being up, late at night, those 10 games on while we sleep. They over there, in their time zone, and they're looking at these players. So I just never understood that. Like, I never understood like the love affair with Ohio State. I mean, I understand like Ohio State has some really good players, and they have really drafted some really good Ohio State players. I get it, right? But come on, man, LSU have players just as good. Georgia have players just as good. So I never understood that. But my final thoughts are very, very simple. Good that the New Orleans Saints are back at home in front of the home crowd. I know that we're all excited about that. I think that hearing the roar of the crowd, the excitement of the fans, kind of give this team a little bit more juice. I think that the guys that set out, I think is more caution than anything else. Look, I really just feel like the Saints are trying to get to the regular season with some of these guys. Like, man, DeMario, you good, man. Just be ready for the beginning of the season. Pete, man, just be ready for the beginning of the season. And, I do feel like they're probably doing a little bit of something when, the cameras are away and stuff like that. When certain activities aren't really open to the general public. I really feel like they're probably doing something. But all in all, just glad for them to be back at Tulane, Tulane Stadium. It becomes like almost like an annual event, having those practices under the lights. It always creates like really good ambiance. Just looking at some of those pictures out there, that's pretty doggone dope. And those practices are becoming classic. So looking forward to seeing the New Orleans Saints in their final preseason game. We'll talk about that, leading up to the game. Also, man, I think I got some good news coming in regards to the week 1 game versus the Carolina Panthers. Working on some things, man. So hopefully I have some good news for you all in the next couple of days. But yeah, I definitely will be down there for the game week 1, Saints versus Carolina. Looking forward to seeing like some of you that will be going to the game, talking with you and stuff like that. I don't stay in Louisiana anymore, but it's always good to get home, And this would be my first time. Like, I want to say honestly, yeah, this would be the first time since I started doing the State of the Saints podcast that I actually go to a New Orleans Saints game, like in New Orleans. Like, I've been to, like, Saints games in other places like Atlanta, places like that, but have not, been to, New Orleans at a Saints game since I've been doing this. So I'm looking forward to that. And thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. If you're new, my name is Timothy J. Jones, and you can follow me on X at TJAY Jones 8. You can check out previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Subscribe to the Gumbo Pot Sports Podcast, youtube.com, search Gumbo Pot Sports. And also, you can also follow the NFC South Roundtable that is available on YouTube. We're trying to grow that channel. I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the comments one more time. I'm just asking you to click on that, hit that subscribe button. We do a show every Tuesday breaking down the NFC South. I represent for the New Orleans Saints. So I'm just asking for more support. Way too many Falcon fans up in that thing for my liking. Y'all know how they go, man. A lot of grandstanding, hot dogging right now. When they start not being what they want to be, they start going missing. Y'all know how it go, man. But I need the support of the Who Dat Nation. Once again, it's every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Hit that bell for notifications so you'll be able to know when we go live. And I'm just asking for your support. All right. So thank you all so much. Have a good morning, noon, night, whenever you're checking out this podcast. And like always, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.